Happy 4th of July, everybody. I thought today, with it being, America's birthday, it would be a lot of fun to talk about a film that is just as ingrained in American culture as apple pie and white picket fences, and that's Independence Day. That and because there's a lot of UFO stuff going around, so I thought that all tied in nicely. So Independence Day, the 1996 blockbuster film directed by Roland Emmerich, this thing was a juggernaut when it came out. I remember seeing this at 7 years old. This film scared the crap out of me. But for those of you who have never seen it, let me give you a quick synopsis. Essentially, it is getting to be America's birthday back in 1996. And wouldn't you know it, a UFO gets spotted on some radar, and eventually several UFOs start showing up over national monuments and start blowing crap up. All our famous monuments get destroyed, and it's up to this ragtag group of Americans to figure out how to stop the UFO invasion and save the United States on Independence Day of all days. And that's your synopsis. If you've never seen it, go check it out. Because from here on out, we're going to be talking about this thing however I feel like and all sorts of spoilery goodness. So let's get into it. This film won an Oscar back in the day for visual effects. And right off the bat, I'm going to tell you these visual effects did not age all that great. So there's certain times where I was like, ooh, that did not age great. But I'm sure at the time it was incredible. I remember sitting there as a 7-year-old in the theater just being creeped out. Like the UFO stuff, like the aliens themselves, that works. I think those are really cool designs. I like the ship designs. Those I don't have a problem with, but there's just times, where helicopters flying in front of the spaceships and all that blue screen, green screen stuff just didn't age as gracefully as one would hope. But I think the design of everything's really cool in this. I do also think it is super convenient that we were able to stop this very advanced alien race from destroying our planet in a matter of 2 days thanks to a computer virus. I don't know. It does seem a little far-fetched, seems a little out there to kind of figure out, but hey, if it weren't for Jeff Goldblum, I don't think the whole idea would have been sold on me. And speaking of Jeff Goldblum absolutely kills it in this movie. He's probably my favorite part about this whole movie. When I watched it as a kid, I had no idea who Jeff Goldblum was, but I love him in this movie. Judd Hirsch as his dad's great in this. I think they have great chemistry. But of course, like Will Smith, doing Will Smith stuff, kind of at the height of his power, starting to, ascend into that Hollywood trajectory of being the hottest movie star, the guy who's going to bring in the biggest box office. He crushed it several holiday weekends, years after that. I think he's fun in this. He gets a lot of fun stuff to do. He punches an alien, for goodness sake. I mean, that's a cool thing. Then you got like Bill Pullman in this. Bill Pullman, is awesome in this. He gives one of the greatest speeches, and we all can agree on this, right? It's one of the greatest movie speeches of all time there at the end of the film, talking about this is our Independence Day and all that stuff. Even though I think the movie is a bit of a mixed bag at points, that scene right there, I mean, that's a classic, great scene. I think all these actors do great stuff in here. It just takes because there's so many actors and so many little subplots going on with these different characters in different places that it all doesn't allow for them to give the greatest performances ever. They're all equally good wholes, that kind of work together to tell the rest of the story. Yeah, Randy Quaid plays that what's it called? The crop duster farmer guy, flies his little biplane. And he's a drunk all the time, but he was supposedly abducted by aliens. And I think he was a fun part of the movie. He's got that great scene at the end where he sacrifices himself to blow up that one ship. I think that was great. The dogfighting is very Star Wars-esque at a point, which was kind of fun, not going to lie. But I think, there was just that unbelievable amount of, destruction and mayhem that the UFOs, the aliens bring down on Earth that I don't see how we really could have, or how this civilization we had back in the 90s could have recovered in 2 days and strike back and defeated the aliens. And I mean, I don't know if the sequel explains anything else. I have not ever seen the sequel, Independence Day Resurgence. Is that what it's called? Never seen it. I don't plan on seeing it. I don't even know if it's worth checking out. I've heard nothing but bad things about it, so I don't, just never seen it. I get why a lot of people dig this movie. And I do think it is a fun, cheesy time as long as you know that going in. But yeah, just some of the special effects not holding up really kind of got to me at a couple of points. Like, this doesn't look great. If the special effects were more modern, it'd probably be a few steps up, to be honest with you. I don't think the story's all that great. There's some logic loopholes here and there that I'm just like, really? We're going to go from here to there? I don't understand how, that like the whole part where they talk about the aliens. I guess they would have the technology to infiltrate our satellite system like they talk about at the beginning to input that code, but they're just going to send out a code for all the different ships to drop their lasers onto famous monuments and capitals at the same exact time. And I don't know. I don't know how that technology would override one another. Either way, like even as advanced as they are, would they figure out our primitive technology? Maybe they would have, but then to have that reverse engineer, like I was talking about with, why am I blanking on Jeff Goldblum, and him figuring it out and reversing it so they can lower the shields and all that. I get it. You need it to happen for the movie, but that's one of those big leaps in logic that I'm like, well, I guess. I don't know. I can't criticize this too much. I know there's people out there that love this movie. I know there's people out there who understand that this is a schlocky, cheesy, explosion fest, that would inspire Michael Bay, I'm sure. It is what it is to them, and they're okay with that. And I'm sure there's people that just absolutely hate this film. But whatever side of the fence you fall on, you can't deny. Look, it was a big cultural touchstone for a few years there when it came out. Yeah, despite my feelings about some of the green screen and blue screen with the dog fighting and not looking as great, there are certain times where I'm like, this is great. I think it's a lot of, fun and exhilarating watching, like Will Smith's airplane dodging and shooting with the UFOs when the whole swarm of their, like, individual planes come out, the individual UFOs come flying out of the ship. I think they do set up some great tension and some great just kind of horror stuff, like especially when they're at Area 51 and that one alien wraps its tentacles around the guy who played Data from Star Trek and uses him as like a voice puppet because they speak telepathically, which I think is a cool thing that they do. And obviously it's got some good humor in it, like that scene where Will Smith is trying to fly the plane and he backs up into the thing and he has to flip the paper upside down. I think that's a lot of fun. Obviously the Welcome to Earth scene again, I already mentioned, I think. Oh, it was weird being kind of on the nose with the Day the Earth Stood Still being on somebody's TV just as UFOs are landing. I'm just like, it's a little too on the nose, but whatever. It is what it is. So look, at the end of the day, guys, I'm going to give Independence Day a B-. Look, like I said, it's not great. I don't think it's terrible. For what it is, I have fun with it. I can ride with some of the shoddy special effects now. Because like I said, at the time, that's award-winning special effects. It just hasn't aged very well. I'd be curious to see them maybe go back and digitally enhance some of those dogfights. And I wonder if that would actually, keep you in the movie a little bit longer, even as over the top as it gets. I'd be very curious about that. But, yeah, and again, never seen the sequel. Don't know if I ever want to. Is it worth it, guys? You let me know. So yeah, guys, what do you think? Have you watched Independence Day? Are you a fan of Independence Day? Do you know anything about the sequel? Should I check out the sequel? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you could, please also hit that like button, subscribe button, the little bell notification to be notified whenever I drop new videos. It would be greatly appreciated. And of course, guys, again, happy 4th of July. I hope everyone had a fun, safe weekend as we all dread going back to our 9-to-5s this week. So until the next review, guys, I'll be seeing you.